and meditations and visualizations haven't been working for you, even though you have been so dedicated to the practice and you have been working so hard at picturing the life you want and imagining and daydreaming, and you're so clear on your results and you know exactly how much money and what kind of a relationship and your body and all of that. I'm going to tell you why that isn't typically working for so many people. It has nothing to do that you're not working hard enough, you're not imagining properly. There's nothing wrong with your visualizations or meditations. But if you want those to work for you, you must understand a very important fundamental principle. You need to understand what's in your subconscious, because the most intelligent, most well meaning, smart, hardworking, capable, competent people will often complain to me that, hey, I don't understand. My life isn't working the way I want. I work so hard. I keep struggling, all these things. Here's why. None of that is going to work if you have a subconscious program that is running the show underneath the surface, that is trying to convince you secretly and silently that that can't happen for you, that you're not good enough. It's going to be too hard. You're going to fail. What if you succeed? What if people don't agree with you? What might people think of you? What are they not going to think? In other words, if in your subconscious programming, there are these voices and messages and opinions that keep teasing and taunting you on how it's not going to work out and how it's going to be way too hard and it's going to, then this is going to be an uphill battle. There's no amount of visualization, meditation, affirmation that can override this, because it's our subconscious that controls about 98% of our life. And most people don't know what's in their subconscious. As Carl Jung said, until you make conscious what's in your subconscious, it will continue to control your life. And then you will call it bad luck or genetics or fate or, well, that's just how it is. There's nothing I can do. And I'm here to tell you that's not true. This is why it's so important. And for most people, by the way, their childhood subconscious programming is running their adult life, and they wonder why they have anxiety. When is the other shoe gonna drop? Why they get depressed? Why they have self-doubt? Why they living with these insecurities and fear? It's because your childhood programming is running your adult life. And that's the part that no therapist, no doctor, no psychologist can explain to you, because they don't even work with your subconscious. They only work with the logic part of you, which sounds very intelligent and reasonable and logical, except it doesn't work. So this is where I don't recommend more willpower. You got to be more self-disciplined. You need to be more motivated. You have to hustle more. You have to grind. I mean, yeah, those things are good, but very incomplete. We need to get to the bottom. Yes, of course we can cure smoking addiction. That's what we do, but that's like just a simple start. Absolutely. Let me just pause here because this is a really good question. First of all, please stop calling it an addiction. Stop. Because addiction is a very scary, threatening word. And we're talking about hypnotic language here. When you tell somebody that they're addicted, that's a very threatening position. It's like, oh, right, you have no willpower. No, just call it an unwanted habit, because that's really what it is. And even if you've had it for many, many years, it still is only an unwanted habit, and we can change that. But once again, remember, that habit is controlled by your subconscious. And that's why cold turkey, willpower, self discipline, I got to force myself, doesn't work. It causes you more pressure. It causes you more shame and blame, because often people like that are like, oh, what's wrong with me? I should just be able to quit. No, you should not just be able to quit. It's not that easy. If it only took willpower, you would have done it by now. If it took cold turkey, you would have done it. We need to understand, wait a minute, what is in your subconscious that is still running this behavior, controlling this, actually controlling you. So please understand this is not your fault. But when you are given a process to help you break this unwanted habit and you work the process, it will work for you. Unfortunately, traditional common advice out there, the best they can tell you is, hey, just push yourself. Hey, just make, or they will create some sort of fear response in you. That's cheap and it's cheesy and it's cringe and I'm not here to convince people. You already are convinced that you want to quit smoking, so you don't need those tactics, okay? That's very manipulative. No. Anybody who wants to break an unwanted behavior, whether that's smoking, whether that's procrastination, whether that's self sabotage, whether that's self doubt, whether that's anxiety, whether that's depression, yes, I just did take all of those and put them in the same category because they are. All of those are unwanted behaviors that the person is sick and tired of. Yes, that includes panic attacks, that includes PTSD, post traumatic stress, that includes OCD. In my world, I categorize all of those, not as pathology and there's something wrong with the person. They're unwanted behaviors. That's all they are. And we can change that. When you learn how to work with your subconscious and you understand that there's a program in your subconscious that is keeping this behavior alive and very happy and healthy, and you get to learn how to work with your subconscious where you can actually make those changes, this will work for you. So, again, there's really, really bad advice out there, just FYI. And this is why I am so insistent on these videos to educate people to say, hey, you know what? Guess what? There's something out there that is natural. You can do this easily. Anybody can do it. I mean, obviously, you got to work with somebody who's competent and confident and knows what they're doing, obviously. But remember, we have a conscious and we have a subconscious. Your conscious is responsible for logic, willpower, a little bit, and decision making. Great. And I probably would imagine that as a person, you probably have already consciously made up your mind you want to quit smoking. Cool. But now let's get working with the subconscious because it's your subconscious that is in control of your habits, your behaviors, your thoughts, your emotions, your core values, your conclusions, your distinctions, um, your imagination, your memories. And so at some point in your life, this habit was established. And ever since then, it's been sort of rinse repeat. And that's all we need to know about that. And we can stop it today. In fact, smoking cessation is not a big deal. I mean, sorry, let me back up. As far as hypnotherapy for smoking cessation, it's an easy, okay, that's an easy problem to solve here. um, versus, as an example, chronic anxiety, or when a person has been living with depression for a long time. That takes a little bit more time because literally their life strategy is right. So there's a big difference. Fear of flying, easy problem versus anxiety, lifelong, right? I had trichotillomania as a kid and I got over it without any. Wow, congratulations. That's fantastic. Um, so, yeah, where were we? I think I kind of shared everything that I wanted to share with you today in regard to, you know, sometimes people struggle with these things needlessly, not knowing that, hey, you know what? Hypnotherapy could actually help you with that. Subconscious reprogramming can actually help you with that. And no, this is not your fault. This is not because you're weak or you don't have enough willpower. And I hear this all the time. You know, I hear so many people come to me as a last resort. Susan, I've done everything. I've tried. I've been to doctors and psychologists and psychotherapists, and I've taken the medications, and my heart goes out to you because very often those same people like sit in front of me. They're like, I don't even know what else to do with myself anymore. Well, hello. First of all, congratulations. This is not your fault. You just have been given methods that are completely incomplete. They can't work. You can't just expect to use logic and somehow this is going to magically fix itself. We've got to get to the level of the subconscious. Your subconscious is in charge, in control of your behaviors and your habits, including emotions, your beliefs, the limiting beliefs that are often running your life. And so we can make this very easy here. So if you have any questions, let me know. And obviously, if you want more, you know where to find me. And other than that, there's a link in my bio if you would like to schedule a free call, just so we can get more clarity. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me.